Okay, well, I'm pleased to be joined by Vishal Dutt of AVIC Development based here in the Twin Cities. And just by way of a very brief introduction, for more than 20 years, Vishal has specialized in ensuring financial and operational diligence in all aspects of real estate development, including capital and operating budgets, financial affairs, and capital stack structuring. His expertise lies in commercial real estate finance and structuring deals for success. First of all, Vishal, thank you for joining us. How are you doing today?
Very good, Brian. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, so just wanted to just gave a very brief introduction there to what you do and some of your specialties in commercial real estate. I was wondering if you could talk a little bit more about your business and some of the services you offer.
Yeah, so I'm in, specializing right now in housing, apartment, market rate apartment development. Offer development services, full land procurement to entitlement to financial structuring, JV structuring, all the way to city. Working with the city, working with the landowner, working with the debt market, equity, legal team. So I pretty much bring up A to Z, the whole soup, whole nuts there. So I enjoy it. I also offer asset management services to any client as well.
Okay. And so you work primarily here in the Twin Cities with a number of different clients?
Yep, yep. Also, I mean, I'm my own client as well, right? I mean, I'm doing my own development as well, and then anyone else client that wants to work with me can definitely offer those kind of services.
Okay. Can you speak to some of the specific developments you've worked on or anything by way of example?
Yeah, currently, I have a project in Chaska. It's a 119 unit market rate apartment project. We started that in summer of 2022, August, September of 2022, and it's about to be completed here in November this year, 2023.
Mhm.
And it's a Class A market rate apartment with all the amenities. And right now we're in pre-leasing the project with my third-party management company. Um, and then I have a second project that I own here that we just closed on end of June. It's in Oakdale, right by the Target and LA Fitness, right off 694. Really good location. It was actually it's about 100. It's not about it. It's a 155 unit project that we're going to be starting. We started construction. That's about 16-month project. Um, it took quite a bit of time. It's in a commercial zoned area. So the city, a few years ago, I believe there was a developer that wanted to do a market rate apartment. They said no to it. But I was able to get it entitled and approved late in 2022 by the city. And then I had to work with the landowner and the current target to do a OEA amendment on the operational easement access agreement, which took quite a bit of time and resource and energy.
Okay. What do you like about that Oakdale area? It seems like there's quite a bit going on there now.
Yeah, I mean, with Woodbury, Oakdale, you have 3M there. You have United Properties is building a huge industrial park, industrial center there. There's a lot of vibrancy there. The location that we're doing our project on is very, very well suited for Class A apartment project. I mean, there's a McDonald's, there's a LA Fitness, access is really good, employment is good, so I'm really excited about that one.
And what kind of apartments are you looking at there? Is that strictly market rate or?
Yep, strictly market rate. There's a mix of studios, one bedrooms, two bedrooms, three bedrooms, and then also within that we have some walk up as well that the city and really liked, and our lender and equity partner really liked as well.
Okay. So just to back up a little bit, I was wondering if you could talk a bit about how you got into this line of work and sort of what attracted you to real estate.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, I've been in real estate since 2000 with various companies all throughout my career. Worked on industrial projects, retail projects, commercial office. Really got into housing over the last 7, 8 years, working with a couple different companies. Really believe in housing. I believe there's a great need for housing. I want to provide housing. My vision is to do, a couple projects a year over the next 5 years. The demand is still very high. And you like to provide housing. I mean, it just, if I can get into possibly not affordable projects here in the next couple of years, that would be great as well. Um, it's
Mhm.
it's it's uh it's fun to see when someone gets a place to live and and they like it, right? it,
Mhm.
it provides gratification.
Yeah, you mentioned that there is strong demand for housing. What are some of the challenges now in putting these deals together? It just seems like there's multifamily housing was going like gangbusters for a while and has maybe slowed down now a little bit. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think the biggest challenge has been the interest rates, right? When I closed on my Chaska deal in summer of 2022, I was, you know, 3 to 4% on my interest rate. Now it's doubled.
Mm.
So getting the numbers to pencil, the pro forma to pencil out, is a little bit tougher. You got to come up with more equity before you could do, 75% loan to cost and 25% equity. Now you're in that 30% to 35 to 40% equity. So it's challenging. And, when you try to go raise equity, investors are saying, well, I can go put it in a money market account and make 6 to 8%, and get paid out right away rather than, giving you money and money just sits there and waits till construction's done and we start leasing, right? That's been the biggest challenge. I think cities are still, I've focused on the suburban markets of the Twin Cities, not really in the urban areas. So the suburban cities and in the Twin Cities, they're the city council, the city administrators, they're still very bullish on market rate apartments and they want apartments being done. In fact, I'm working with another city right now to try to get another project going for next year, and they're very bullish on getting something done there. So other, I would say the other challenge obviously is, besides the capital markets, is construction costs and labor. Construction costs have come down a little bit, but supply chain is tight, right? So to get stuff done on time has been a challenge.
Mhm. Yeah, you mentioned costs coming down a little bit. You're seeing that with inflation moderating too, and so, but it sounds like the Fed is still talking about possibly yet another interest rate hike. Where do you see that going? And what could another interest rate hike? What kind of impact could that have on the market?
Uh, you know, Interest rate. I think there might be one more hike here towards the end of the year, and but I do see them bringing it down maybe 75 bips here over next year. So again, interest rates are hard because it's just hard making the numbers work, right? You got to be creative with your financing. But the other flip side is, the one advantage of developing and building apartments is, people also can't afford to buy homes. So they do need somewhere to live, and apartments is a place where they're putting their money in and living, right? It's hard to get a mortgage now for that first time homeowner or even second time homeowner.
Sure. What are the opportunities on the affordable housing side? Are there still what are some of the challenges and opportunities there?
To be honest, Brian, I have not dug into the affordable as much.
Mhm.
That's something I want to be doing here in a couple of years. I've been focusing on the market rate apartment
Mhm.
side. I think when I've looked at it in the past, it's to get the approvals. It's a long process. It's almost like a 2 year process to get all your money and your credits and approval done. So, um, that's been the challenge, I think, when I looked at that model.
Well, there's certainly a need for it, so
Yeah, oh, definitely. There's certainly a need, and I think more in the urban areas, Minneapolis and St. Paul and uptown, and that's where I think there's a great need for affordable housing.
One thing we also track here, we keep pretty close tabs on the real estate sales, commercial sales, whether it's apartment buildings or industrial or just kind of across the spectrum. It seems like sales have really slowed down in the first half of this year compared to last year. And how is that again just is that due to some of the things you were talking about before with
It's a
interest rates?
function of the interest rate, right? I mean, the cap rate is always a function of the interest rate, right? And what can be afforded, right? Um, I think that's going to correct itself. The one thing though, I do also have a pulse, and I'm always talking to institutional brokers on the sales side, with different various firms here in town, and they still are telling me that if you build a good Class A apartment project, and good location and well amenitized, you should not have an issue selling it. There might be a little correction on what the buyer and seller's wishes are, right? But you can come to an agreement and sell it if that's what you're willing to do. There's enough capital, outside capital, enough institutional capital that's willing to park their money into nice apartment projects.
Mhm. Okay. What else have you been up to? We talked a little bit about some of your development activities and apartment construction. What else are you working on these days?
Yeah, so I mean, other part of my business is finding financing debt for third-party clients through venture mortgage. So that also keeps me busy. So I have my development business here that I'm doing, and then I'm doing the brokerage financing for clients as well. So but again, that's been a challenge as well. I've had a client who has quite a bit of hotels that aren't flagged, and it's been a challenge finding financing for him because banks have really pulled back on that type of product.
Yeah, I've been hearing about that as well, and so that'll be something to keep an eye on going forward. Is that so? Are you from the Twin Cities? Did you attend college here? Tell us a little bit
Yeah,
about
yeah.
that.
No, yeah, I was actually born in India, and came here when I was like 2 years old. Our whole family came like in the early 70s, migrated here and lived here in Twin Cities. I've lived here all my life. I love it here. High school, Minnehaha Academy, went to college at the U of M, and living here in Shoreview since 97 with my wife and my two daughters who are now 20, 24 and 22. The older one is off to medical school, and the younger one's about to leave for working at an investment banking firm in Manhattan here this tomorrow. No, Friday. So
Wow, that's
yeah,
exciting.
yeah, it is very exciting. It's exciting and a little nerve-wracking as well.
Yeah, I have two daughters off to college, and one's going to be a high school senior, and then one just moving into high school. My youngest is my son, so
Yeah,
um, it's they grow up fast.
they grow up way too fast, way too fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so some of my hobbies are I love playing sports. I
Mhm.
love my Vikings and anything that has to do with Minnesota sports. Bleed purple. Play basketball all my life till I was 40, and then started getting back aches and knee aches and stuff like that. So I'm into pickleball right now, and still play
Okay.
tennis, and still like doing a Peloton bike and that kind of stuff. So
Well, you're seeing those pickleball amenities a lot now on some of these projects, and it just seems like that's one of those. It's just amenity driven, right? You have to.
yeah, yeah, I'm actually looking at a project for next year that where I maybe put an apartment and put a pickleball next to it. So I think
Okay.
that would be a great amenity for that project.
hmm Okay. Do you have any thoughts on this kind of the industrial market and where that's heading in terms of new construction and sales and things of that nature?
I don't really, but what I've heard is the two areas of real estate that you really want to be is housing and industrial. Office and retail are challenging right now, but industrial I still think is very lucrative.
Well, great. Well, we covered quite a bit of ground there. Vishal, any other thoughts before I let you go, or anything you wanted to plug, or?
No, I mean, I have a passion for what I do. And I'm a one-man shop. I pretty much do everything with trusted professionals I have with me, my GC team, my architect team, engineering, legal team. You can't do it without those, but you have to have a first and foremost passion and desire and will to do this, and some again, wake up and want to do it every day.
Mm-hmm. Well, great. Well, thank you for your time, sir. Hopefully we can stay in touch and talk in the future about some of your projects and different things you're working on.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you for your time, Brian. Really appreciate it. Appreciate you doing this.
All right. Thank you. Take care.
Yep. Thank you.